Alrighty. Hello, my name is Nick Casper. This is my Intercultural Communications final video presentation. So, sorry about the kind of style I have going. It's kind of like a makeshift TED Talk, but I don't really know how to do any video editing stuff, so this is as good as it's gonna get. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So these are the questions that I had to answer in my paper. What specific aspects would you consider in reading, writing, listening, presenting interculturally? You know, you get the point. I'm gonna read them out all because they're all on slides to go over my answers. So let's just do that. So what are the specific aspects you need to consider in reading, writing, listening, and presenting interculturally? So right off the bat, the biggest thing to consider, and I feel like it's kind of the main thing to consider, is just culture, other people's culture. If you're interacting with someone from a different culture, communicating with them, you want to take their culture into consideration. You want to think about their beliefs, the way that they conduct things. So you want to respect that, and you definitely want to follow their cultural etiquette, whatever it is, like business or just, just a normal interaction with someone from a different culture. And then I wrote consideration because it's just about considering those facts, considering about, other people's cultures, other people's beliefs, and yeah, just being respectful of them, following them in order to show respect to the person that you are communicating with or interacting with or maybe doing business with. So how does emerging technology enhance or discourage intercultural communications? So the positive effects of that is it increases globalization and it makes overall communication easier. So obviously it just makes life simpler. You don't have to get on a giant plane and go across the country to talk to someone who's all the way across the world. You can do it within like a couple touches of buttons, which is really, really cool and really convenient for people who, want to. And things like social media have increased globalization to a huge point that, they're now, everyone can communicate with everybody because of these platforms and the fact that they have translators. One of the facts I cited in my paper was that Facebook has over 75% users who are not from the United States and I don't think speak English as their first language. And then there's also over 75 languages to translate to for any post. So any post that you see in any language can be translated into over 75 other languages, which is really neat because people can just hear other people's thoughts and ideas all around the world whenever they want. The negative effects are that it strays away from tradition in terms of what I was talking about earlier. You want to respect business etiquette. So one of the things I talked about in my paper, another citation from an article, was talked about just Chinese business practices, and a few of them were, one was no gifts, because it's a form of bribery and that's illegal in China. So giving gifts to a business partner is an absolute no-no. And also leaving a meeting, you want to leave a meeting before your Chinese counterpart if you're having a business meeting with them. So I feel like this, strays away from the tradition and it loses the sense of intimacy that we have within the interactions, because when you're on a call, you're not forced to follow that sort of etiquette. You're not forced to do these actions that I guess would show that respect. And I think that's what intercultural communication is all about, is showing that respect and being able to, engulf yourself in the experience and do it the way that they do it. So, there's that going for the bad side. What ethical aspects you need to consider in intercultural communication? So ethics for intercultural communication are all about just protecting culture and respecting culture. So you just want to make sure that you're doing that. That's basically your biggest thing that you want to try to promote when you're dealing with intercultural communications. If you want to protect the culture and you want to respect it and you want to have it upheld to a sort of standard, hold it in this light where you're respecting it and just valuing it. So what are some intercultural communication problems that we face in society? So there's many problems that arise within intercultural communications just because of how it works. And so I think it's just different perspectives and beliefs, and then a communication barrier / communication block, because you have all these people who, do things very differently. And I think it creates problems specifically within businesses and just trying to get anything done. like one side or the other. You know, one person wants to conduct it this way because this is where their morals and their beliefs and their culture like stand, and this is how they would like to do it, and the other side may have a completely different set and they might want to do it a different way, and that just makes it harder to reach an end goal overall. So there's definitely a lot of issues that arise just from the fact that intercultural communication relies on cultures merging, and it's just hard because of things like language barrier, culture barrier, yeah, stuff like that. So how would I relate this to the cultural dimensions? I would relate this to uncertainty avoidance, because it feels very much, I think it's very, uncertainty avoidance, I guess, to break it down for a sec, is what it's people's fear of, it's basically a fear of like change or things being done differently, or not being able to do them your way. So I think that you know, creates a lot of problems, because people think that the way that they've done it for all these years has been the right way. When someone else comes in and tries to do it a different way, even if they're super open to the other culture and the way that they want to do it, subconsciously I feel that people are always, you know, kind of like scared or threatened by change, and they wonder how that's going to affect them in their life, and how they conduct, I guess, how they conduct themselves from there on out. It's always just, yeah, I feel like nobody really loves change, but that's what intercultural communication is about, is merging culture, you know, creating change, and doing things the way that, you know, somebody else would do it in their culture, and just experiencing that in general. So yeah, that's my last slide. That's pretty much it for my paper and stuff. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.